I'm Kathryn Given, Senior Style and Market Editor at Luxe Interiors and Design magazine. Thanks so much for joining us on DesignTV for our at-home color experience with Farrow and Ball. So today we're talking color, and I am thrilled to be joined by the very talented Alicia Cannon, owner of AJC Design. Hi, Alicia.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm great. I'm so happy you're here. I am such a fan of your beautiful interiors, but I know sometimes when it comes to our own spaces, things can get a little bit more challenging, right? So enter Farrow and Ball and their now virtual color consultancy program, which you used recently when moving into your NYC home. But before we start, chatting about paint, to kick things off, do you just want to talk a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Alicia Cannon. I have a small boutique firm called AJC Design. We primarily focus on boutique interiors, especially for hospitality. So anything from restaurant to spas to hotels. We also specialize in multifamily as well. We have dabbled into the residential world. And as you'll see, there's some great touches for the residential side in here. We currently reside now downtown. We were uptown as of June. And yeah, we're currently loving our downtown, a new apartment. I reside here with my partner, Henry, and my daughter, Millicent.
Oh, lovely. Gosh, you are busy. No wonder you need some help.
Yeah, definitely. It took a village, I'll say that.
Well, I also love Farrow and Ball. I actually have my tiny NYC apartment painted pink ground, which I think is just the most flattering color. Like pink is like universally flattering, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it feels really nice with skin tones as well. And you'll see that we picked a great pink hue that works in Millicent's room. So
oh, lovely. So I've known that, Farrow and Ball does this in-person color consultation. They've done it for a while, where their customers can connect with a team of pros that really take their knowledge and expertise, to weigh in on the right shade for your space, because it's not an easy decision. It can be very stressful. But now this is all virtual, which I think is actually, even easier and better than ever. Yeah. But, to backtrack again, this all began really because you got to move during a pandemic.
Yes, absolutely, which we didn't envision ourselves doing. We thought we were actually going to move to Connecticut for a while. And, we knew we had to move in June because our lease was up. And, with the state of the world affairs, every day it's changing. So we just didn't know what September would look like. So when we were in June, so we got a great opportunity to move downtown, and we took it, and we said, we're diehard New Yorkers and we want to be here. And we went with it, and we rolled with the punches through the move. That was quite an interesting process for sure.
For you then, the time was right for this, virtual, consultation. Tell me a little bit about that, and, again, how it came to be.
Sure, absolutely. So, obviously I have access to my design library, but I didn't have the Farrow and Ball information with me while I was in Connecticut because, our office is here in New York. So when I found out about the consultancy and that Patrick would give me the time to go through the colors, I was like, this is fantastic, because, you don't know, especially when you only look at an apartment maybe once, and especially during the pandemic, we haven't been able to, you'll see it virtually versus actually walk the space. So you never know what the light's going to look like or how the space actually feels. So I knew two things: that we faced east and we didn't have a lot of light towards our kitchen area. So those were two big parameters I had given Patrick when I had done the consultancy. And, I just gave him my guidelines of what I needed and what I was looking for. And he really helped me understand what worked best and what didn't work best. So the consultancy was a huge bonus, especially in this time, because, you can arbitrarily pick something you just don't know without seeing it on the wall.
Let's take a look at how it went quickly.
Hello, my name is Patrick O'Donnell, and I work for Farrow and Ball, which is a British sort of premium paint brand based in Dorset in England. I am the international brand ambassador of Farrow and Ball, so I'm kind of a spokesman. I do interviews and press in color consultancy. The role of the color consultant, sometimes we try and push you out your comfort zone. but more often than not, we become kind of editors, if that makes sense. We try and make your choice an easier process rather than sort of slightly being overwhelmed with so much choice. So we just kind of help you refine where you're probably going on the color journey. It's probably quite important to have some flow and continuity rather than jarring from, you know, having a shock every time you enter another room.
Yes, absolutely, and that's the in this case, that's exactly how it appears. The space, it goes from kitchen to living room, or living room dining, right into the first bedroom. Because of the transition to the first bedroom, the wall only goes up to 7 feet versus to the 12-foot height of the ceiling. So because we have that jarring transition with that wall not going all the way to the ceiling, we do need to maintain the paint to go all the way through to the other bedroom. So yeah, that's something important we should keep in mind.
Yeah, okay. And for your living room, what were you kind of thinking of in terms of aesthetics? I mean, in terms of what's your furniture, you know, what's the fabric on your sofa? And
Sure. So most of my fabrics are family-oriented fabrics. So a lot of outdoor fabrics, cleanable fabrics, just because I have a child and she's still at the stage where she's ruining everything. So I have some beautiful modern chairs from Mitchell & Gold that are all in a black perennials outdoor fabric of velvet. Our sofa is just being ordered. It's going to be probably in a white fabric. That's an outdoor fabric, so I can clean it.
I was going to say
a modern aesthetic.
Yeah.
But overall, you know, most of the colors in the actual living room and bedroom, or the living room to the dining room, are more of the chrome tones. Where in the bedrooms I go more gold. So in my daughter's room especially is more gold.
And I think because you've got quite a lot of strong elements in there, you know, visually strong, you know, although the palette's quite restrained, sometimes it's really important to have quite a neutral foil which lets all your objects and art breathe. And I'm going to show you a color here, and this is called Ammonite, and it's a really lovely, I'm not sure how it's registering on the monitor. If I hold it up against our pure white, so this is called all white, which is a really pure chalk white, and you just get this lovely soft brown tone. So it's not a cool gray. There's some, you know, a lot of grays. I think a lot of people perceive grays as being quite cool. And we do a set which are bluer based, you know, with a little bit more black. So this is actually sort of the warmer gray family, and this is kind of one of the softest, called Ammonite. It gives you that kind of really clean aesthetic without it feeling too cold and clinical. Just a really nice option. Right. So the only reason I was bringing Ammonite in is just because sometimes it's a little bit warmer. If you don't think you're getting a lot of natural light, you know, you're in New York, so you've probably got high buildings all around you, you know, so there's less filtered light coming in through the day. So it has a warmer note. That's all. So that's it.
Okay. Yeah, I can see how it's much cooler in color, and there is that blue undertone versus the brown undertone. Yeah.
So the Ammonite possibility is, it's a living dining room, isn't it? It's a shared space. And then we're transitioning now where through to your master bedroom?
Yeah, into the master bedroom, which has mostly creams and gold detailing on the headboards. All of the fabric on the bed is it's either like a light blue, cream color, all restoration hardware, linen sheets. So there's like an indigo blue set I have. Then I also have this black and gold massive light fixture. And then the drapes are all cream, and then gold hardware for the drapery treatments. So, and then there's like a very modern, mid-century modern chair that's in there in a cream color with walnut brown. So all of the furniture is white with brass details and walnut brown.
So sometimes cream, I don't know how strongly it is, you know, that usually implies there's a slight yellowness to the fabric. So sometimes grays don't work with that, but obviously something that sits really nicely with grey, but also will be really empathetic to any cream tones you have, and also the walnut mid-century. There's this really beautiful colour we do called setting plaster.
Oh, setting plaster, yes, I have written that down.
It's a really beautiful pink, and I'll show you that against the all white again, so you can see the colour coming through.
I love that colour. It's beautiful.
That's slightly better, isn't it? So sometimes I'm getting a bit of light bounce on here. And I'll show you that against I'll show you against Ammonite, because again, it's that brown. So the lovely thing about setting plaster is it's not a sugary candy pink. Again, it's got some brown through it, so there's kind of it's quite a sophisticated pink. With the ammonite and the setting plaster, with that transition, you're almost getting those brown notes following themselves through, so you get that kind of nice symbiosis between the fact they're both slightly brown based.
I love setting plaster, and I think you're convincing me to go to ammonite. To be honest, I'm really loving it. It's really very
pushy. Just tell me to shut up.
No, the setting plaster is really beautiful. That's the color I was thinking for my daughter's room. It's just there was another color called, I believe, Middleton. Middleton
right? Pink, yeah. Which
Pink, which I felt was a little too childlike. Where the setting plaster was just like I could see my daughter growing into that color. Right.
So that's Middleton. So it's much softer. It's a bit cooler. So there's a bit of black through it. So actually, weirdly though, that then goes with your dimps really well. Yeah. So we can still play with either family. So if dimps is the preferred choice for your living room, then maybe Middleton. Or actually, I've got another color here which is really nice. It's a bit more intense, called Calamine, which is one up from Middleton Pink. So so that's Calamine here, and then Middleton. Then obviously you've got the warmer, browner base of ammonite and setting plaster. So it's just trying to bring that level of warmth in a bit more. So again, I'm just worried about this might be feeling a bit cooler.
It is feeling cooler. Yeah, definitely see that. I'm leaning towards more of the warmer tone.
And would you go a little bit darker in your bedroom if we went down the grey route again? Because I'm going here, and I know I said I'm nervous about creams and greys, because what can happen sometimes when you put creams and greys together is the grey can make the cream look too yellow, and the cream can make the grey look too cold and a bit dirty. Okay. So that's the only caution I'm throwing in there. So that's why we always recommend sampling before you commit.
Yeah. So if we did the darker color on the floor, would you still suggest doing the darker color on the wall?
Yeah, I think it can look really beautiful. It'd be really cocooning, and especially in a bedroom. Essentially, it's your resting space at night. Yes, okay, you have to wake up in it and everything. So, to go into a room that's quite dark and cocooning, it's actually quite conducive to a good night's sleep, because it's kind of not distracting. It's too bright. There's not a lot of energy, in the color.
So the dark color that you suggested was
Mole's Breath. And if that's too much of a commitment, we do one shade lighter. So, as I'm saying, when you look at your color card, when you find where ammonite is, you'll see this color family. So it's kind of strong white, ammonite, Cornforth white, Purbeck stone, worsted, and Mole's Breath. They're all together as a grey group.
Grey group? Okay. I think if anything, like if I'm going to feel like I'm going to do some color, I think I would do the Purbeck stone.
Yeah. It's lovely. And
pretty.
It gives you that flexibility that you want. So you're not having to worry about, having to repaint the walls if you want to introduce where Mole's Breath would commit you much more to possibly changing it if you wanted to do other things in the room.
Yeah, and the other thing is I've never lived in this space before, so you know how it is about becoming, acclimating to your space, right? Sometimes you paint everything and you've never lived in the space, you don't really know how you're going to live in the space or how you're going to feel in the space. So it's always like, okay, should I go I have no color problem with going with bold colors, because I love bold, and I think it's a lot about personality too, so I don't mind bold. So getting to my bathroom, since we have decided on the living room and that's going to go into my bedroom, so I think this Purbeck stone would look really pretty in the bedroom as well. And then since Millie's room we said setting plaster, what should we do in the bathroom?
What tiles have you got in your bathroom? Have you got tiling in there?
We do, and just so you know, we tried to do this on a budget, so we reglazed everything and just reglazed it all white.
So I might throw in a curveball here.
Okay.
Just because we've been quite discreet and subtle everywhere, and
Sure.
But I'm thinking of the white, and I'm talking green here. So I don't know what your relationship to green is. It's a really lovely bathroom color. It's a really good feeling color. You know, green is the color of nature. It's one of those that's very restful and very calming as a palette. I'm going to show you a color here, and it's called cardroom green.
Okay.
There's almost a grayish tone again through it, so it's kind of it's a dirtier green rather than a bright verdant spring green.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you that against a white when I can find my whites in my ever increasing palette of sample boards. So it's quite dark, but it's really beautiful.
It's pretty.
It's really it's
putting on your makeup.
Yeah, no, you might look a bit more jaundiced in this also. No. It might be absolutely fine. But the one thing you could do if you've got just not too much wall is take the wall and right over the ceiling. Is a really nice trick to do. It's really beautiful and it's quite dramatic. And I don't know about whether you're into having house plants or anything through the property. You know, living things are quite nice because again, it's kind of quite good for the mood and the spirit having living plants. You know, sort of some greenery and everything, you know, in the bathroom with green. Green and white is a terribly elegant combination in a bathroom. It's really beautiful. I think that's a really lovely option for you. Okay. If that's not too petrifying, that is.
No, I like color. And, you know, I think with something like, you know, we have like gray towels, we have white towels. Most of our towels are white, you know, and clean, monogrammed. I love a monogram. Okay, great. That was really helpful. And I think you convinced me to go a little darker, which was nice. It was a little bit outside of my comfort zone, but I'm glad I did it for the bathroom. And I really love the gray color that you suggested for the living room. It's really pretty.
I think it's just a bit, you know, it's just a little bit warmer. So, you know, I think having a browner-based gray is probably more empathetic to the environment.
Okay, that's good. That's good advice, especially with the daylight we are not really getting, you know, in that part of the room. So
perfect. Yeah, and that's it. We've covered all the rooms, have we now?
Yes, we have. We're all set. Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah, thank you so much for your help. I appreciate it.
So that looks so interesting, Alicia. Was that helpful? You know, talk to me a little bit more about the process. You know, as I said, it must be so nice to have, you know, a color expert really to bounce decisions. You know?
Sure. You know, the great thing that Patrick had given me was, you know, he really asked a lot of questions, which I thought was really great. Like he really probed me about like what the furniture was, you know, what our style of living was. Did I have children? So he asked a lot of those questions, which I thought was really thoughtful, but it was actually quite smart because all of those questions really affected the color I chose. You know, the fact that we picked a color that has low VOCs, doesn't have a lot of, you know, after smells, or you can paint while you're at home, which was great, you know, so that was very important to me having a child. Also the importance of including a primer, he really emphasized on that. Just even like originally when I was looking at the colors, I had a few colors selected and then, you know, he's like, why don't I show you this? And I was like, oh, I would have never thought about that. And it was really good to get his perspective because he's like in the know. He uses these colors often and he's seen them in spaces. So like for me, I haven't really seen it on the wall. You know, I see it on a small chip. So it was really beneficial. Absolutely.
And how was sort of the virtual experience? Because I know, you know, usually most things in life these days, it was in person, you know, and you could really talk to someone face to face. But how was the virtual experience? It was
seamless, absolutely seamless. I didn't feel like I was wasting a lot of time. I didn't have to go there. You know, I did it in the comforts of my home. I had all my samples with me. So, you know, after making those decisions and then going back and looking at all the finishes that I already had and seeing it all come together, really just closed the gap for me on the paint. And as soon as I had that, you know, there was no questions after it. So from start to finish, seamless.
Yeah, it probably saved you time, right? Now in this virtual world, it's just much easier to connect, right?
Absolutely. Transportation alone is, you know, I would have had, you know, the local, because I'm in Connecticut, the closest location would have been New York. And, you know, our showrooms are closed at that time. So it was a life savings. It was super easy and it really helped progress the space and get us moved in easily.
Talk to me a little bit about light. You said you had like some tricky lighting situation, or how has like the paint also transformed, like daylight, nighttime?
Sure. This space itself is like dark, pretty dark during the night because it's west facing. We don't have windows towards the west side of the building, and we only have natural morning light, which is wonderful. So I did help. The space itself has really tall ceilings, which is really helpful.
Oh, lovely, lucky.
So, raising the draperies to the ceiling and keeping colors quite light and airy and open really helped. We added a lot of mirrors in the space to make the space even look bigger. So, small little tricks, but the paint itself really helped the space open up and really feel larger than it actually is.
So, as we know, color can completely transform a space, and I'm very excited to actually take a look at some of your before and after photos and sort of have you walk me through some of the spaces that you painted. So
Sure.
Do you want to start, where do you want to start? Maybe in like the entry space?
Yeah, I mean, it's small. We're under 1,000 square feet here in Manhattan, but yes, the entry dining / living / kitchen. Yes, absolutely. So this space has actually master bedroom as well. The space itself all leads into one room. So it goes basically from east to west. So the entire room didn't have a lot of transitions parts where we could transition to another color. So we kept the entire color the entire space one color. So we did the Purbeck stone, which is an understated gray, and it's the longevity of this color. Like, I don't see myself having to paint this color in the next, I don't know. I think I could really live in this color for a while because it's a color that easily transforms with other colorations. Like, I could always change this space, and I think the background's neutral enough that I could keep it.
Yeah, that's such a lovely color. And I also find Farrow and Ball, paint names so interesting, right? I'm always like looking through my little fan deck. And I'm like, oh my God, dead salmon, or I don't know. It's very evocative, but that's a lovely, lovely shade. Is that where you're at now, or is that a different?
Yes, it's in the back here. And it's a great backdrop for paintings and anything that has a lot of color on it.
You're right. It kind of stands out, anything that you hang on it. And so you mentioned you use this in sort of the entry dining living space as well as in your master bedroom.
That's correct. Yeah, we have a half height wall, not a half height wall, it's a 7-foot wall because we have 10-foot ceilings. So the actual space continues through to the east side of the building. So we wanted to keep it continuous and have a flow without having to start and stop colors or, interjecting any type of transition.
Nice. And I hear that you painted yourself, which I actually kind of did a recent thing. And how did that go?
It was. I actually found the trimming quite therapeutic, believe it or not. I was here late nights by myself doing a lot of the trimming, and I felt like I also liked doing the primer, believe it or not.
Interesting.
The primer was very therapeutic because I think I was washing away whatever was existing.
Right.
So, just transforming it to a white shade, whatever, if it was a light tone or a mid-tone, whatever the primer base was. But it felt almost therapeutic, like we were really transforming our space to our own space. So maybe it was psychological.
Well, now's the time to sort of get your hands dirty and do all these projects at home, right? And it honestly looks beautiful, very professional.
Yeah, it actually, I have to say, I would have paid someone to do it at this. I would have gotten paid for it.
Nice. And then, so the last space I kind of want to discuss is this lovely, your daughter's bedroom, right? Which is so sweet. I love the shade you picked here.
Yeah, setting plaster is a great dusty powder pink. My daughter's 2.5, so I wanted something that she would have a lot of longevity again, because who wants to paint if you don't have to? But I wanted to give her an opportunity to grow into something without it feeling too childlike all the time. I wanted to have a nice backdrop. She's a lot of colorful artwork. And I wanted it to feel open and airy and feel larger than, it actually appears to be. So it feels so refreshing in space. I'm really happy we settled on that color.
I'm such a pink person, and I feel like it's good, for younger people, older, it can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spaces, right?
Yeah.
So, well, congratulations. Your new space is so beautiful. And, I wholeheartedly endorse your paint picks. I love them. And it's, you know, it was so fun to hear a little bit about the process and really obviously see Farrow and Ball's beautiful colors, you know, come to life in your space. So to our viewers, thanks for tuning in to Design TV. And if you need some help with your paint projects, head over to Farrow and Ball online for a virtual color consultancy. Thanks so much, Alicia.
Thank you.
It's good. Older, you know, it can wholeheartedly, and it's, you know, it was so fun to person, and I feel like it's good wholeheartedly, and it's, you know, it was so fun to person, and I feel like it's good wholeheartedly, and it's, you know, it was so fun to person, and I feel like it's good wholeheartedly, and it's, you know, it was so fun to person, and I feel like it's good wholeheartedly, and it's, you know, it was so fun to